All right, all right, all right. I'm Kevin Garcia, aka the Puerto Rican Kid KG, and today I got my guy with me, somebody that you should all be familiar with. But we're gonna make sure that by the end of this interview, you guys have a good understanding of 16 and 0, super lightweight, 15 KOs, recent Matchroom signee Ernesto, but he goes by Tito Mercado. Tito, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Chilling, chilling. Listen, I'm feeling good. I know you got to be feeling good because you have a fight date, coming up in the near future. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So, I had to do my research a little bit, and that's okay. I think sometimes in boxing, we pretend like we know everybody. It's impossible. There's so many good fighters on this planet, and based on how the business works, sometimes you don't figure it out right away, and sometimes you may never figure it out. But doesn't mean there's not a bevy of talent. You, however, my friend, you're hitting the stage. Pretty strong. Recently signing with Matchroom, and we're gonna talk about that. But before we get into that, what is it? Do you feel like a hidden secret, like a hidden gem out there, ready to show the world? Like how are you feeling with this big debut with this promotion company, this huge promotion company in Matchroom?
Man, I mean, it's kind of like I don't know, man. When it comes to, the hardcore boxing fans, I feel like they all know me, but as far as, the casual fans, I feel like I'm a little under the radar. And maybe that's because, I mean, pretty much through my whole, 16 fights, I've been kind of, except the last two, I kind of been, we've been independent and we haven't been broadcasted on, big TV. My last two fights were on the zone. So people are starting to see me a little bit more. But as far as, the casual fans, I do feel like I'm a little bit under the radar, man. And, signing with Matchroom, I feel like they're going to give me the platform and, good fighters to go along with it, man, to go there and to show who I really am.
Yeah, for sure. And let's actually elaborate on that part a little bit. When I figured that out, I'm like, damn, really? So I was speaking with Sebastian, who connected us, right? And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, man, Tito's promoted and like pretty much managed himself his whole career. Can you talk to that a little bit? What's that like as a fighter? Like, because I know fighters that are with promotional companies that have a hard time, right? But as an independent, I'm sure there were challenges. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, man. Mainly it was my father. My father was, the brains of it. Even we even did a couple shows. We did his own, well, we did our own promotional company, and we had two, three shows. Which guys we fought like Nakatila on one of those cards, who's fought Shakur and fought Morataya, so fought good names. But no, man, it's been a fun journey, man. Just to be able to fight locally, fight as many times as I wanted to. I was fighting at least 5 times a year, so I was fighting good names, and it was definitely a fun ride, man. And now I think now it's just really more so we just want to get more eyeballs on this and to get these bigger fighters in there, man. We know I got to be a little bit more. The offer's got to be a little bit more lucrative now, and coming from a top promoter like Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, we know that we can get these fights made.
Yeah, and you again, you're 16 and 0 with 15 knockouts. So what's it like for a guy who's obviously putting people out, but who's independent to get fights? Was it easy for you to get opponents when you were independent, or were there challenges trying to convince people like, yo, get in the ring with me, because the risk reward, right? Obviously, as a fighter, you got to weigh that a little bit. So Tito is a high risk.
Right. No, no, definitely. It was definitely hard, man. But even now, it's still hard. I think now it's just more loud. Now I guess it's more, we don't have the stress on us. Now it's more Matchroom, stressing to get us an opponent, man. It's been tough, man. We've been wanting these tougher guys, and a lot of these guys just keep rejecting. Matchroom keeps letting us know they keep rejecting. So, I guess it's just more or less, I got to stop knocking guys out so damn early. Maybe, carry them out a little bit longer. Most of my knockouts within the first 3 rounds. So maybe I just got to slow it down a little bit more.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you can't say anything, that's cool. But I know you said that Matchroom was having a hard time matching you. Is there anybody that you were trying to get into a fight that just ain't want the Tito smoke right now that you're able to talk about?
I mean, as far as Matchroom, man, there's a lot of people, but there's guys in the top 10, notable like Arnold Barboza, who offered me a fight, then declined it. So we got guys, that are, going for world titles, or in the top tens and just declining fights. And we've been asking for these guys, man. They don't want to. So definitely been difficult. But like I said, man, I know what, Matchroom and promoting the fight the way they do. And, obviously they're gonna be able to offer more money out. We know we'll definitely be able to get those fights.
Yeah, yeah. And you just mentioned Arnold. He's somebody who obviously is trying to get a world title, and you're in the same position. That would be a great fight. So I hope down the line that's something, if it makes sense, that actually comes to fruition. But talk to me a little bit about Matchroom. What led you to go with Matchroom and not one of the other, big name promotional companies? Why Matchroom?
Like I said, man, they've been making the big fights happen. Whenever these fighters, especially, I'll give you an example like Berlanga. Obviously, we know he wanted the big fight with Canelo. he signed with Matchroom. You know, I know that was one of the agreements they made, and Eddie came through. So, you know, with us, man, we're eyeing specific fighters, and you know, we want these big names, and we know Eddie could come through, and he's just been making big shows happen, man, all over the world. So we want to be part of that. We feel like we could definitely, you know, become a superstar with Eddie Hearn, and you know, just like I said, get these big fights that we want.
Yeah, and you know, in a day and age where perception, unfortunately, sometimes is the leading factor, even before talent, right? Like somebody will perceive something to be great, and because of that, opportunities come. What does it mean to you to have a guy like Eddie, who we all know has a great mouthpiece, is not afraid of a camera? What does it feel like to have that backing, especially Eddie Hearn?
Oh, it feels great, man. It feels great. It gives me, a lot of guys sometimes, you know, tend when they get talked highly about that, they tend to fold under pressure. But to me, it kind of hypes me up a little bit more. And man, like I said, I'm just excited, man. You know, especially in these big fights. I know he's gonna promote it great. I'm gonna do my job at promoting it great. And like I said, man, I know we're gonna make some superstar fights happen. And ultimately, like I said, I'm gonna become a superstar in the sport.
Most promoters, Tito, right? Traditionally in boxing, it's been like bring a guy along slow, build him up, get him a couple, you know, what they would call, I don't like using the words because I don't think it's the right term, tune up. I like saying setup, but get a couple setup fights, and then starting to position them into a contender. Doesn't seem like that's the Matchroom way, right? Matchroom is like, yo, Eddie loves to say, if you're good enough, you'll win,
Yeah.
right? That's his favorite thing to say. And I love that. As a fighter, and I know obviously you're not gonna tell me, no, you know, I'm scared. I would rather go a little slower. But what does it mean to you to have a promoter that's like, no, we're going 100 miles an hour from the beginning if that's what you want. No fear.
No, man, we loved it. That's why, you know, obviously another reason why we're signed with them. We was both in line with envision what we had. You know, as a as a pro, like I said, man, independently, I was fighting guys that had a lot of experience already. That you know, like you said, veterans that were kind of contenders already. You know, like I said, Nakatila, Endo Henny, you know, guys like that who's been in there and give guys tough fights like Barboza, Morathai, who have already have like 20 plus fights. We were just in line, man, with what we wanted, and we feel like we could get these fights, like I said. So to me, it was cool. We know that we could get these fights made. We know that we're not cherry picking no fights, so they can give us, a bunch of buns. Man, we want to get ranked, and we want to get ranked now. We want a title fight, so we know he's gonna put us on the fast track.
Yeah, and true to Matchroom fashion, and a lot of what we're talking about, you have a huge Matchroom debut coming up January 25th, undercard of Diego Pacheco versus Steven Nelson. It's going to be a very exciting fight and a great headliner. Definitely a huge platform for you. And Eddie delivered. He's got you a former champion, 130 pound IBF champion Pedraza, seasoned guy, has fought a lot of notable fighters. What can we expect, from you in this fight? And what do you expect from your opponent? Because Pedraza is seasoned, he's had some tough losses. He's also had some great wins. What kind of fight do you think he's going to bring you, and what can we expect from you?
Man, I expect him to give me his A game. You know what I'm saying? Well, regardless of, the losses that he has against these, every fighter they lost against was a top fighter,
Hmm.
going for a war title, was a world champion, they was on their way. So to be able to go in there and make a statement against him, just shows me that I'm gonna be on my way. And like I said, man, I expect him to put on a great fight. Regardless of those losses, he put up great fights. He gives these guys work. I'm expecting to steal all the experience that he brings to the table, and ultimately, man, my 16-0, 15 knockouts is enough for no reason. So I'm planning a knockout on January 25th.
You gonna take it a little bit slower or gas pedal down? If it's there, you taking it.
No, if there, I'm taking it, obviously, but I want to get some rounds in. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really been able to get rounds. That's the main thing that we really want. But like I said, if I see it there, man, I'm knocking them out, man. It's Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna go crazy. Everybody loves knockouts regardless, man. So I'm gonna take it.
Do that, man. I think the fans will definitely enjoy it. It's gonna hurt me a little bit, as my paisano. Yo soy Boricua. Pedraza's
Yeah.
another Boricua, but he's a hell of a fighter, and I think he's definitely gonna, give you what you need in order for you to continue to build your platform and show people what you're made of. So I'm excited for that fight and excited for you. And I can't wait to January 25th to actually see it live. Whether I'm there in person, I'm hoping so. All right, we got to be there the week after, so we'll see. But we'll definitely be in contact and get you some coverage either before or after. But let's talk about your division, man. 140 pounds, sizzling, bro. I mean, everything from like 135, and no disrespect to 147. There's great fighters there too. I don't think it's got as much momentum behind it, but definitely 135, 140, 154. Whoo, top. Your division specifically, 140, just crowned a new champion. Your stablemate, Richardson Hitchins, he just won the belt at 140. And I've saw interviews, your introduction, with Matchroom and stuff like that. The name kind of got passed around a little bit by Eddie. Have you guys talked about that at all? Like the future? Like, is that a fight that you'd be angling for in 2022, or excuse me, in 2025? Is that maybe not something like, hey, not just yet, we're gonna build it up a little more? Where has the conversation been around like a fight with you and a champ like Hitchins, who's in the same stable as you?
Man, we want that fight. I told Eddie, I want Hitchins, if he, gets crowned against Paro, and he did. And I say this respectfully, I think he's a sorry ass champion. I don't think he's gonna hold the belt too long, so I don't see myself fighting him for a world title fight. Maybe, for another title eliminator. I don't see him holding the belt too long, to be honest with you. I think he's probably one of the sorriest champions now in the division. But if he does, man, that's definitely a fight that we're gonna be eyeing. I'm gonna definitely be, calling out that name after this fight. Obviously, I know there's other people in line. I know other people that he want to get through. And me being a high risk, I'm not sure if that fight will be made next. But like I said, man, I'm gonna be calling him out. And hopefully, if he still has the belt in 2025, man, we make that fight happen. I know Eddie would love to make that fight happen.
Yeah, that was my next question. How open has Eddie seemed to making that fight? And from what you're saying, it seems like Eddie is invested in potentially getting you guys in the ring together.
Oh yeah, man. Eddie wouldn't throw me with anybody. He just, like I said, one step at a time, and whatever name I call out, he's gonna make it happen for me. So, like I said, you may see a fight. Like I said, Hitchenson's still crown champ. You may see a fight with us in 2025.
No doubt. What'd you think about his fight with Paro? How'd you see it?
I thought he won. I mean, I think after the fifth round, I think he started getting momentum, but I thought he was a very basic fighter, man. I mean, I didn't see no body shots. I just saw 1, 2 shots. He would win. I mean, to the rounds to me with maybe 2, 3 clear right hands, and that's not a complete fighter to me. When he gets in the ring with a guy like me, I'm gonna just tear him up, man. And I don't know what the hell Paro was doing, to be honest with you. Paro, he been watching too much Madrimov or some shit. He was doing all this shit with his hands, doing this in and out. So what the fuck is he doing? I think he just got out with game plan way too much. He was doing all this weird shit. So, but no, I mean, respect to Hitchison. He pulled through after the fifth round, but I think he's just all over the place. He's not even looking at his corner, instructions. He will listen to Edgar Berlanga. What the fuck's he doing? He do that with me, then get slept. So it's gonna be a fun night, man. Hopefully we do get that fight. I know he runs his mouth a lot, so definitely love to shut it up. I think it'll
No
be a great
doubt.
build up.
Man, you killing all my, you killing Puerto Rico, you killing Brooklyn, you just killing me, Tito. Nah, no
Oh
doubt,
fuck.
man. You do your
Yeah.
thing. You do your thing. If you get them, you deserve this. So I'll be there for you, brother. But talk to me about 140, Tito. Talk to me about 140. So I know Hitchins isn't somebody positioned too highly at 140, but you have Puello there, you have Tio there, you have Rayo. If not Hitchins, are there any of those guys that you prefer, or is it really just whoever?
I mean, obviously, whoever gives me the first title shot. But I would definitely love a fight with Tio or Raul. But like I said, man, Eddie's a guy that works with everybody too, so it makes it so much easier for me to go and get a fight with Tio or Puello. He's not a type of promoter that's I'm only gonna work with this promoter or it's not gonna happen. So, I definitely love either Hitchens or Tio. I think those would be great fights. But whatever champion comes first to me, I'm definitely gonna take that shot.
Got you, got you. And just one other thing I wanted to touch on is just your experience. Again, for the hardcores, familiar, casuals, maybe not as much, but let them know. From what I understand, you have experience with, you've worked with Murataya, Chocolatito, Masaigo. Talk to us a little bit about those experiences, especially like with a guy like Murataya. We could probably just start there. He's a 135-pound super contender, definitely in line to get his title shot and working hard at that. He's trained by Robert Garcia. What was that experience like? Was it at Garcia's gym or was it just with Murataya? And just a simple breakdown.
Yeah, no, man. We were just in camp, so we did. I think I want to say maybe 6 rounds with Mortaya at the Robert Garcia gym, and it was good work, man. I probably had maybe like 2 pro fights at the time. He probably had maybe I don't know what he had, maybe like 15, at least 15, 16. So it was good work, man, and it was great work. That's all I can say. I don't talk too much about sparring, but I mean, the only thing I say is after that work, we've been trying to get more work with him. We haven't been able to get the chance to. So that's all I gotta say on that topic.
Enough said. We can leave it there.
Yeah.
Tito, what should the fans know? Any message you want to send? Where can they find you? That kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, man. You guys can follow me at Real Tito Mercado. Stay updated with all the latest news and fight updates. But man, January 25th, man, it's gonna be a great debut for me. I feel like a lot of people are anticipating it, especially since my last fallout, with my opponent being overweight. I think everybody's anticipating it now with a former world champion. I feel like we upgraded the opponent. And man, like I said, Boricua versus I got Mexican descent and Nicaraguan descent, so I feel like it's gonna be a great fight out there. in Vegas. You know, got a great undercard. You know, with Pacheco and then we got Andy Cruz on there too. So it's gonna be a great night of fights, man. And I'm just right there. You know, I know I'm gonna steal the night. You know, ultimately, you know, Pedraza is a great fighter. You know, world champion, obviously in his regard, respect to him. But I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna put him to sleep. That's what everybody comes to go there see.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, listen, we appreciate you. We appreciate your time. I'm Kevin Garcia. This is Fight Hype, January 25th. Look out for my man Tito Mercado. I ain't got to tell you nothing. He told y'all he's looking to make a statement and he's ready to put on a show. And we can't wait to see it. Thank you, Tito.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.